of modeling has always fascinated audiences. From the outside, it looks like a dream filled with beauty, fame, and opportunity. But according to several former contestants, the reality behind one of television's most iconic reality shows was far darker than viewers ever imagined. New revelations from former contestants of America's Next Top Model have sparked major controversy, exposing what some participants describe as intense psychological pressure, manipulation, and shocking behind-the-scenes treatment. For years, fans watched hopeful models compete for fame on America's Next Top Model, the hit reality competition created and hosted by supermodel Tyra Banks. The show promised aspiring models the chance to launch successful careers in fashion. Contestants lived together in luxurious houses, competed in weekly challenges, and faced dramatic eliminations in front of judges. However, former contestants now claim that life on the show was not a glamorous modeling competition at all. Instead, some describe it as psychological warfare. One former contestant explained that once filming began, the show quickly became their entire world. According to her, the contestants were cut off from the outside world so completely that they lost track of time in reality. One day, she remembered hearing fireworks in the distance and becoming frightened. None of the girls knew what was happening. They had been isolated for so long that they didn't realize it was the 4th of July, a major holiday in the United States. Contestants say the isolation was extreme. The vans used to transport them were reportedly blacked out so they could not see where they were going. They were often placed in windowless rooms where they had no sense of day or night. Some women claimed they were not allowed to leave their hotel suites without permission. In some cases, security staff even slept outside their doors to ensure no one left unexpectedly. One contestant recalled a particularly unsettling experience when she and around 30 other girls were placed on a bus and blindfolded for nearly an hour. None of them knew where they were being taken. She said the experience reminded her of the famous Stanford prison experiment, a controversial psychological study that demonstrated how power and confinement can affect human behavior. Former contestants also claimed that the production environment was extremely controlled. If even one person was awake in the house, the lights would remain on for everyone. Privacy was nearly non-existent. Even basic activities like going to the bathroom required permission from production staff. Contestants say their daily routines were tightly regulated and that they were often not allowed to speak to each other unless cameras were rolling. According to participants, when the cameras were off, they were sometimes forbidden from speaking at all. These silent periods could last anywhere from a few minutes to several hours. The rule was allegedly enforced to ensure that important conversations happened only on camera, where they could be recorded for the show. New insight into these claims comes from the documentary Dirty Rotten Scandals, produced by Entertainment, which explores several controversial moments in reality television history. The documentary features interviews with former America's Next Top Model contestants, including Sarah Hartshorne from Cycle 9 and Angelie Preston from Cycle 17. Their testimonies provide a deeper look into what they say really happened behind the scenes. Contestants claim that breaking production rules sometimes led to group punishment. For example, if one girl talked when she wasn't supposed to, producers might confiscate everyone's iPods or books. These small comforts were among the only personal items contestants had during filming. Food restrictions were another serious complaint. Several contestants say they were given only $37 per day to purchase their own meals while filming. This limited allowance created stress and tension among the competitors. According to former participants, producers knew that hunger would make contestants irritable and emotional, which would increase drama on camera. One particularly famous moment from the show involved contestant Brittany Brower, often referred to as Bree, who had an emotional breakdown after discovering that her box of granola bars had been opened and eaten. At the time, many viewers thought the reaction was exaggerated. However, former contestants now claim that the incident made more sense when the full story was revealed. They explain that the granola bars were actually purchased with Bree's own daily allowance. Losing them meant she would have even less food to eat. Later, it was revealed that the bars had allegedly been taken accidentally by a production assistant who was trying to help another contestant, Lisa D'Amato, who had already been eliminated and was staying in a hotel with little money for food. Former contestants say that once they were eliminated from the competition, the daily $37 stipend stopped immediately. Yet many were still required to remain in hotels arranged by the production team for several weeks while filming continued. During this time, they were responsible for paying for their own meals despite having limited income. Sarah Hartshorne recalled that after her elimination, she was kept in a hotel for 2 weeks. She claimed she did not even have the key to her room and had no idea where the hotel was located. Without transportation or outside contact, she felt completely dependent on production staff. Another shocking claim comes from one of the show's original judges, legendary supermodel Janice Dickinson, who appears in the documentary. Dickinson says that the show's intense environment could deeply affect contestants' confidence and identity. She described the competition as emotionally exhausting and said it often pushed young contestants to their psychological limits. One of the most disturbing allegations involves the way contestants' personal histories were handled. Several women claim producers pressured them to reveal deeply personal and traumatic experiences from their childhoods. They say casting teams conducted extensive background research, reviewing everything from family history to financial records and even medical information. Contestants say they felt enormous pressure to share painful personal stories because they believed it would increase their chances of staying on the show. Some participants now believe the production team intentionally encouraged emotional vulnerability in order to create dramatic television moments. Sarah Hartshorne recalls that producers repeatedly targeted her insecurities about her body. According to her, production staff would ask her multiple times a day whether she thought she looked fat in certain outfits, or whether her makeover made her appear masculine. They also asked how she felt standing next to thinner contestants. She believes these repeated questions were designed to trigger emotional reactions for the cameras. Another major misconception about the show involved the grand prize. For years, viewers believed that the winner of America's Next Top Model received $100,000 cash prize. However, former contestants say the reality was more complicated. Instead of a single payment, the prize was actually structured as modeling work worth up to $100,000. According to former contestants, the payments were divided into several installments and taxed separately. In practice, they claim, the total amount often came closer to around $60,000 worth of work spread across a year, rather than a lump sum of cash. Perhaps the most controversial story involves Angelie Preston, a contestant from Cycle 17, also known as the All-Star Cycle. In one of the most shocking behind-the-scenes twists in the show's history, Angelie was reportedly crowned the winner during filming. She celebrated on stage and believed she had won the competition. According to Angelie, judges including Nigel Barker congratulated her and welcomed her into the world of professional modeling. For a brief moment, she believed her life was about to change forever. However, months later, the production team allegedly discovered information about Angelie's past that led to her disqualification. Specifically, it was revealed that she had previously worked as an escort. As a result, the show reportedly removed her title and filmed an entirely new finale. In the reshot ending, fellow finalists Lisa D'Amato and Allison Harvard appeared in the final episode, with Lisa D'Amato ultimately named the official winner. Angelie says she was devastated. She claims she was offered only $300 as compensation, which she described as pity money. The experience left her emotionally shattered. She remembers returning to a friend's basement apartment in Brooklyn and crying for days, unsure what to do next. Angelie later revealed that she had previously been trafficked and that a casting director had asked her directly during auditions whether she had ever sold her body. At the time, she denied it because she feared losing the opportunity to appear on the show. She says the casting director later reassured her privately, telling her that what had happened in her past would remain a secret, and encouraging her to take advantage of the opportunity. Angelie emphasizes that she takes responsibility for her past decisions, but believes there's a major difference between voluntary sex work and being trafficked. She says she was young, desperate, and taken advantage of during a vulnerable period in her life. When asked about the allegations made in the documentary, representatives for Tyra Banks and executive producer Ken Mock were reportedly contacted but did not respond publicly. Angelie's journey to the show itself was remarkable. Determined to become a contestant, she traveled to New York City hoping to meet the casting director. Without money for a hotel, she spent the night sleeping in Port Authority bus terminal. Her determination eventually caught the attention of the casting team. After losing her title, Angelie attempted to take legal action. Around 2014 or 2015, she filed a lawsuit against Tyra Banks, the network, and other members of the production team. The case went into arbitration but was eventually dismissed. Despite the disappointment, Angelie eventually rebuilt her life. Today, she works as a journalist and news producer in Buffalo, New York. One of the biggest stories she covered was the tragic Buffalo mass shooting in 2022, which deeply affected the local community. Angelie says becoming an award-winning journalist gave her a sense of validation that no television title could replace. Unlike the modeling crown that was taken away from her, she says her professional achievements cannot be stripped away. Meanwhile, Sarah Hartshorne has also moved forward with her life. She wrote a book inspired by her experiences on the show and has spoken openly about the realities of reality television. Both women are now mothers, and they say their lives turned out differently than they once imagined. In many ways, they believe the difficult experiences ultimately pushed them towards new paths and opportunities. When asked what message she would give to Tyra Banks today, Angelie responded with a mixture of frustration and confidence. She believes the show made the wrong decision about her, but she is proud of the life she built afterward. Her message was simple and direct. They got it wrong.
For full video, click related link below or like and subscribe this channel.